afternoon, everybody, and I'm delighted that we're going to start our session on customer premise equipment with one of the biggest developments in CPE for a very long time. It's been described as the equivalent of DOCSIS in terms of the impact it's had certainly on the cable industry so far, and that's RDK. And I'm joined by Steve Heeb, who's the General Manager, or President and General Manager of RDK. So welcome, Steve.
Thank you.
Okay, so for anyone that's not familiar, just first of all quickly explain what RDK is and why an operator-led initiative of that kind is important.
Sure. First of all, the RDK is an open source software platform, and it is really focused on video products such as set-top boxes, broadband products such as gateways, and we're putting platforms together for things like cameras and other devices, and also to integrate the IoT interfaces that are going to be in a home. And it's really for operators to run their devices and control their devices, control their business models, and have a very transparent software solution that it's open source based, and they can see what's going on all the way throughout the food chain, in the SOC, in the set-top box, in the broadband gateway. The system integrator and the application developers all get access to the same source code and jointly work together. Why it's important on the operators is I think this is one of the first times that the operators can control the software in their devices, and they can control their business model for the future things that are coming down that the customers want: streaming video, applications, cloud DVR, etc. So, that's in general what the RDK is and some of the benefits it provides for the operators.
Okay, you mentioned IoT devices, and I presume that's relating to RDKB, which is a new development in RDK. And
yes.
Just tell us what that is as opposed to RDKV.
Again, the RDK video software profile is very focused on set-top boxes. The RDK broadband software profile is focused on gateways and delivering a data service. And with that data service, there's quality of service, Wi-Fi, and it can be the hub, the gateway can be the hub that all of the IoT devices connect through your Wi-Fi connection. And it has integrated in there things like Thread and Zigbee and Bluetooth. Those are integrated into the RDK broadband solution, so it can talk to the devices. So that's why it can kind of be the hub.
Okay, and I believe you've announced some new figures for RDKB today. No, so not for B, but for both RDK's versions. What's the progress like? Yeah,
so the operators, they get the software and they run their own solution. They don't have to check in with us, but we get some aggregate numbers. So in aggregate for RDK, for video and broadband combined, both are deployed. It's in excess of 25 million units deployed worldwide. We've had some recent deployments maybe since the last time we talked, in the last 12 months. So there's been deployments in Switzerland, there's been some deployments in Germany, some deployments in South America, some additional deployments in North America, split up between the US and Canada. So there's approximately 300 technology companies involved in the ecosystem. So it's really making some progress to be a solidified open source project that's being used on a worldwide basis.
Okay, and that 25 million figure, is that both RDKV and RDKB combined?
Yeah, that's combined V and B. The operators don't tell us the breakout numbers. We think it's actually dramatically more than the 25 million, but that's just an aggregate number that people provide us information. Okay.
Well, last year when we spoke, you said that paid television operators could now go on the offensive, largely because of RDK. So just tell us what you mean by that and how it's helped them do that.
Yeah, so in the past, there was probably a slow cycle for developing products and putting them out to the customers. And the RDK is a modern software platform that allows operators to provide services to customers at a very fast and innovative rate. And so there's operators using the RDK to work in a software agile development format, and also in a DevOps product development and running their network. And so instead of taking a year or two to get a product out, people are putting new products and services out in months. And so it's dramatically changed the way they can provide a product and a service to a customer and actually get ahead of what the competition is doing. The RDK doesn't provide the service, it provides the platform that allows the operator to utilize the service. or to provide a service to the customer. But they're doing it at a very fast rate, and I think we'll have some folks talking today, and they'll probably give you a little more of the details there.
So this idea that pay TV and OTT having a level playing field, do you think we can get to that, or have we reached that point in terms of velocity?
Well, I think the OTT service, the RDK can be used by an OTT provider as well. It can be used by anybody. I think the operators that have a customer base have a dramatically better position to be in than the OTT providers. I mean, they have an existing customer. If they can provide a new UI, if they can provide the services that are being done, I think they, again, can play offense. And so whether it's a level playing field or not, I think it's a more advanced playing field for the existing operator because they have the customer relationship. They just need to give them cool products, give the customer what they want, the applications what they want, and on the devices they want.
Okay, well, you said it can be used by anyone. I mean, at this point, it is all cable operators. Should we expect that to change? I mean, I've spoken to vendors in the past who have said there will be some telcos and satellite at some point, but that was even as long as 2 years ago, and we haven't seen it yet. So is it coming?
I think you have to ask the operators. Again, there's people who take the licensing, the open source software license. They don't have to call us to tell us what they're doing, and they don't. We have relationships. We talk to a lot of folks. And so I think it's natural to go on the cable platform first. I think one of a large cable operator helped develop the concept, but put it out in open source. And so I think you'll see some, but again, it's up to the operator. But the way the RDK works, it's not satellite, or it's not telco, or it's not OTT, or it's not cable. It's a video provider with a software platform, a broadband provider with a broadband platform. So it's kind of neutral to who uses it, and it's up to the community to accept it or do whatever they would do.
Okay, and it looks like the biggest competitor to RDK in terms of global scale and shared or open source would be Android. I mean, is that how you would view it as well?
Again, I see the RDK as a volunteer army. You either like it or you have other options. So I see that as an alternative. And in reality, RDK was made to be a software platform that really integrates down to the SOC level and does some of the very heavy lifting, such as tuning video and resource management, et cetera. The things that should be standardized across operators' network. And it's made that the app platform goes on top, and the operator brings the app platform. The operator determines the business model of what apps go on. So, is Android competition? I think it's an alternative. But what I would like to do is I think I'd like to see an operator integrate the Android app platform onto the RDK. And that would kind of be the best of both worlds. There are app platforms integrated on the RDK today. Metrological is one of the prominent ones, but there's others. Operators are doing their own. So if an operator did the RDK to really control their network and their business model and make sure they control the data that's coming back, et cetera, and then they have a cool app platform such as Android on top, I think that would be a fantastic solution. So I don't know if that's alternative. I don't know if it's potential partner. Okay. Maybe I'll talk to the Google guy after this.
Okay. Well, Android is speaking later, and I'm sure they'll explain the benefits of Android. So very quickly, what would you say is the advantage of RDK in just a couple of sentences over Android?
Again, whether it's over any software platform, I go a little macro. I think the RDK is one of the first open source software solutions where the operators are working with the technical community, et cetera. So some of the benefits that operators have told us is it solidifies their business model. That's the first one. It's the control point between the customer and the apps that you put on top of that. And operators have come back and said it is probably the most single important control point to have the software and the device in the customer's home under the control of the operator. That includes the apps that go on top, the look and feel, and then there's the data that comes back. It's the operator's network information. They need to control and own that and manage that. So the first one is the business model. Second one is probably the data that is coming back. Very important to run the network real time to transition to a DevOps model. And probably, there's a couple of other aspects, the transparency, that when you run a project, everybody gets the open source, the SOC vendor, the set-top vendor, the broadband gateway vendor, the system integrator, the app provider. Everybody gets the software and jointly develops. It's a very different methodology for putting products out. And then people focus on the innovation on top instead of the hard stuff of the SOC integration.
All right, now RDKB, do you think that could be bigger than RDKV over time?
Over time, I think it could be, whether it's a convergence of video and broadband, because when everything transitions into an IP video stream, and there's applications for video services, all that's run IP. So is that a broadband gateway, or is that a converged video broadband gateway? We'll see where that goes in the future. But I think the real focus point right now for the RDK program, a lot of companies are focusing on the video side, and that's to put a new user interface out there, have a modern software platform for them in the future. The same goes with the broadband, though, is right now, broadband is really sold in speed increments. And in the future, people talk about speed's important, but really what I'm selling in the home is Wi-Fi connectivity. And so how do I do the Wi-Fi connectivity on a quality of service? I think it's where, I think you'll hear today, but people will provide applications that let the customer in the home manage their Wi-Fi. The RDK broadband will have integration into mesh networks, little points that are being sold in consumer electronics world today. The RDK-B will integrate into that, and it will have the IoT solution integrated in, so it can be a central hub for the operator. And if you look at it from that perspective, I do think the RDK broadband is probably in 3 to 5 years going to be the dominant platform that people develop on.
Okay, all right. Well, we might dig into that in a bit more